What's going on, everyone? Millions of American citizens are giving up. It's happening in 2026. It's becoming an epidemic, for sure. There's millions of people who are giving up on the sense of what life was told to them. People are giving up the sense of growing up, going to school / college, getting married, starting a family, getting married, buying a home, working and excelling at their career, going to church on Sundays, if religious, hanging out with friends, if social, and doing all that till you can possibly retire. If you can maintain a job, have a 401k, establish a savings, or have enough to make your SSI float. That was the premise of living over 60 to 70 plus years. And all that has changed. If this is your first time seeing Black, please hit the subscribe button. We talk about stuff like this often. So if you're interested in this, hit a like and leave a comment. Millions are struggling, and mental manifests to physical. It was once said that all men were created equal. All men would have access to basic living conditions. Food to eat, clothes on our back, a bed to sleep in, a job to make fair wages. We vote to be represented by the government. We vote to be heard. But does it matter? Who is upholding the true values that are the core of America? Who can really help? Because while the rich get richer, while the influence gains more power and reign, who's looking out for us, the people? Who has our back when we become less than? This is America. This doesn't have to do with any sort of level of consciousness, guys. This is not talking about people who are woke, feel chosen, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not talking about none of that. These are average Joes like you and I who are sick of the mundane rat race, who's reaching certain stopping points in their life, certain steps, and keep plateauing. It's more than financial, guys. It's physical, it's mental, it's spiritual, it's an emotional thing, it's social, guys. So, let me know if you are one of the guys who is feeling it. You guys have been hearing, there's a lot of people, just struggling in the United States right now, especially since COVID, right? A lot of people hasn't, came out of that bubble of finding themselves, right? Job collapse, career changes, health effects due to or lack thereof from COVID. Obviously social media, quote unquote, awakening certain people to certain things that's been right in front of them even before social media started. All this stuff has been happening the last 5 to 6 years. And for some reason, today, over the last couple weeks to couple months, more and more people are saying this shit don't make no damn sense. This shit as in their life. This shit as in their schedule. This shit as in their routine. It's not making sense. People are actually starting to look at their bank accounts and say, wait, this is not making sense. Although their bank accounts has been showing them it hasn't been making sense all this time. There's an awakening factor happening. I won't call people woke, chosen, right? Their third eye. This is just people are actually just seeing the writing on the wall. Like, they're actually, and I could be contradicting myself, but hear me out. Those words, woke, chosen, right? These are like spiritual / mystic words that exemplify a certain level or a certain predestined group can attain a certain level of consciousness. Some people could agree. Some people don't. However, I just want to just keep this lower level because there's millions of people who don't even believe that they are or believe in that, yet they're tired of just their life. So I don't want to subjugate this to just a certain group of people. This is general. If any of you guys are feeling like you've been stuck, right? Whether you're in your late teens or you're 72, first hit a like and drop a comment. But if you guys are feeling stuck, right? You've experienced something that a lot of people haven't. You've experienced something that a lot of people can't see. Because a lot of people won't experience it. Like, people will know that they're living paycheck to paycheck. People will know that the relationship that they're in is toxic. People will know that their boss is a micromanager. People will know that we've been introduced to more of a modern, slavery type of system. Like, they will know it, but they wouldn't want to get out of it. And so that's that, quiet quitting, right? Realization to action type of feeling. You know what I'm saying? And people are starting to feel that and do it. People are willing to be homeless for a little while. People are willing to be jobless for a little while, right? Like, there's the idealization or the realization of something, then there's the action and the tiredness. The tiredness promotes action, guys. You don't care where your next is coming from. You can't take being on the job anymore. You don't care where your next relationship is when is it going to happen. You can't take being around that guy or that woman anymore, right? People are giving up and having kids, right? Why would they want to bring kids into a world where it's damning the would-be parents, where it's damning the would-be grandparents, right? Millennials and Generation X, like, we can't get the shit together. Why would we bring, Generation Alphas into play? You get what I'm saying? Why would we follow a system or routine where the game has changed? Where the limits of confidentiality has changed? Why would we, keep succumbing to a losing game? Millions of people are done. People are willing to foreclose their home. They're done with this shit. Like, when you get tired of something, guys, you don't wait for somebody to tell you to do something. You get what I'm saying? Like, when you're actually tired of something, when you're actually fed up, right? It's like when you get sick physically, head cold, stomach ache, you literally don't want to eat, and nobody doesn't have to tell you not to eat. You get what I'm saying? So when you get sick of certain shit, economical situations, social injustices, certain pressures, like, you get tired of it, you literally start abstaining, and you'll deal with those consequences as they come. You now take it day by day, which is both freeing and scary at the same time. It's scary because those day by day thoughts, that day by day action, right? Because in America, you're supposed to have a plan, you're supposed to be grinding, right? It doesn't do well in a system for people who are supposed to continually spin the hamster wheel. So what happens? Start getting notices of evictions, right? The system and the matrix starts just, screwing with you guys, right? Screwing with us. You know what I'm saying? You start having people talk bad about you. You start losing more money, obviously, right? Because you've slowed down your work productivity, or you just quit your job. You decided to take a break, a vacation, a mind reset, right? Your family starts looking at you different because your trajectory in life seems like it's plummeting, seems like it's plateauing or decreasing. All these things start happening. You know what I'm saying? When you just kind of unplug yourself, at least mentally first, and then you just deal with it. It's like you go from survival mode. You go from survival mode into, like, all out war, all out consciousness war, because you're still in an economic system where the people who make it, quote unquote, make it, the people who become the owner, the people who become the influence, right? You have to climb that hierarchical chain. You have to sacrifice moralities. You're not willing to do that on a lower scale as average, Joes, right? So how in the world are you going to be able to get on top of a system when it's made to keep you low? You get what I'm saying? And people are just starting, they're just starting to feel that in mass groups, you know? And so it's crazy to see that there has just been like this general, you know, movement to just say screw it, you know? Like, let me just figure this out. There's people who are leaving the States. And not only leaving the States, there's people who are willing to just start living off of the grid, planting their own stuff. They're getting into agricultural trades to understand self-sufficiency from a land perspective. You know what I'm saying? There's people who are removing themselves from groups, social media. Like, people are just saying, screw this shit. I'm tired of all of it. Because at the end of the day, every single thing we're doing is to promote, you know, the agendas of just a couple of people. You know how sick that is? And that's what I'm saying, right? For me to circumvent this, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't even understand that what they're doing, right? The millions, if not billions of people, because hey, let's take this out of the States. There's billions of people who don't understand that they're promoting the agenda of the 1%. You know what I'm saying? So you're not even getting that. They don't even care to think. People don't think about that. So that's what I'm saying. There's a level of consciousness or a higher level of thinking where people aren't just thinking about it. They're just tired of working 50 to 60 hours a week and not seeing enough money. Simple as that. They're tired of, you know, being told that if they keep on with their savings plan, or if they do this, then they could reach this, and just not seeing it. We don't have examples of that. That shit's diminishing, you know? People are tired of the grind. People are tired of the proverbial, even the literal carrot that they're chasing. And then they're just gonna just figure this shit out. People are going bankrupt. You know, people are sleeping in cars and storage units. I bet there's some people right now who probably turn their phone off or have their phone just off, right? Because they can't pay for it, whether they want to or not. You know what I'm saying? Like your mind it becomes tired. It overloads and it needs a reset. People are feeling this shit. I talked to a guy out here who's been living out here in Thailand for a couple years, making $100,000 back in the States. Bro still felt he got all this stuff, right? All this material stuff. Knows a lot of people, and you feel defeated. So how do you feel defeated? How are you obtaining, or at least on the road to obtaining, quote unquote wealth? Quote unquote the American dream, quote unquote influence, notoriety, connections, right? Your life has been told. You have been trained, desensitized to getting to the bag. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all life is. And once you've gotten to the bag, or once you've seen that you're passing certain peers and social and certain classes and groups, you still feel stuck or defeated. That lets us all know that it's a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme, because the more money you make is the more money someone else is making. And they're good. They're good. All they care about is making money. Those elites, all they care about is power and influence. Those moralities went out the door decades ago, if it was ever born into certain people. But people who are waking up now and kind of seeing the writing on the wall, they still have that level of morality. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Think about it, guys. Anyway, it's hot out here. If you guys found this somewhat motivating, somewhat inspirational, somewhat, self-propelling to awareness, hit a like for me. If this is your first time seeing Black, hit a sub for me. Leave a comment. Talk about life in the comments. We can't change the system. We can't. It's not made to change. The system has been going on for centuries. Morning. But what we could do is work around it. Choose to think higher level and play our certain cards. You know what I'm saying? So keep maneuvering, be in that gray area.